Tom sat alone in the observation room of the orbital station, Horizon 9. The room was silent except for the soft hum of the air filters and the distant click of machinery. Outside the large glass window, stars spread like shining dust across a black ocean. He had been watching them for hours. It was the only thing that still made him feel human. The rest of the crew had left weeks ago when the cosmic storm warning arrived. The storm was supposed to last only a few days, but it had never stopped. The energy waves kept the station trapped in its orbit, unable to move or send a signal. Tom stayed behind because someone had to. Someone had to keep the systems alive, make sure the station did not fall into the planet's gravity. It was his job, and maybe it was also his way to escape Earth. Life down there had been loud and messy, full of orders and people who never listened. Up here, everything was quiet. He could fix what was broken. Machines made sense to him. He leaned back in the chair and took a deep breath. The air smelled faintly metallic, mixed with the scent of recycled oxygen. His last conversation had been through a recorded message from command, promising rescue soon. That message was 23 days old. The storm's radiation blocked communication now. Tom looked around the control room. Screens blinked with warnings, showing red and yellow signs of power drain. The outer shields were weakening again. He reached for the panel, typing in new commands. The reactor was still stable, but the energy waves outside were growing stronger. He knew the station could not hold out forever. He stood up, stretching his arms. His body ached from long hours sitting at the console. His meals had become routine, cold packs of protein and water. He checked the temperature gauge. Slightly lower than normal. The storm was affecting internal systems again. He walked down the corridor toward the maintenance deck. The lights flickered as he passed. The metal walls echoed his footsteps, reminding him of how alone he was. Sometimes he spoke out loud just to hear a voice. "Still working, Tom?" he said quietly. "Still alive?" The sound made him smile for a moment, then fade again into silence. In the storage room, he picked up a tool case and returned to the engine core. The reactor chamber glowed with a faint blue light. He adjusted the magnetic coils, checking their balance. Everything was still holding, but the storm outside was unpredictable. The readings on the sensors showed rising radiation levels. Higher than anything he had seen before, he remembered how the storm began. The scientists had called it a cosmic flux, a ripple in space energy that passed through the system without warning. No one knew what caused it. Some believed it was a natural event. Others thought it was something else, maybe artificial. Whatever it was, it had cut off entire stations, ships, and colonies across the sector. Tom rubbed his eyes and sighed. He had not slept properly in days. Every time he tried, the alarms went off. He kept thinking of what would happen if he failed. The idea of drifting forever through space was not something he wanted to imagine. After checking all systems, he returned to the control room and made a log entry. Day 41 of isolation. Reactor stable. Shield capacity 70%. Communication offline. No human contact. Paused before adding softly. Still waiting. Stepped back and looked out the window again. The planet below shone with a green-blue light. It was beautiful, almost peaceful, but he knew that peace was an illusion. The storm waves moved like invisible tides, bending light and distorting the stars. Sometimes when the energy peaks rose high, the glass of the window shimmered as if space itself was twisting. That night, something strange began to happen. The sensors picked up a sudden rise in dimensional energy far beyond anything recorded before. The readings jumped across the screen, making the warning lights flash red. Tom rushed to the console and tried to stabilize the power flow. The outer shield started to vibrate. The whole station groaned, as if space was pressing down on it. "Not now," he muttered, pressing commands rapidly. "Hold together." The lights flickered again, and then the entire control room was filled with a soft white glow. The air felt heavy, like static before lightning. Tom looked up in confusion. The glow seemed to come from nowhere, spreading like mist. It did not feel dangerous, only strange. For a moment, everything went silent. Even the hum of the machine stopped. He felt a pull in his chest, like gravity had shifted. His vision blurred, and he tried to reach the console, but his hand passed through the control screen as if it were smoke. He stumbled backward, heart pounding. The light grew brighter until all he could see was white. His last thought before darkness took him was that the storm had finally breached the station. When Tom opened his eyes, he was lying on the floor of the control room. Everything looked normal again. The lights were steady, the hum had returned, and the warning signs were gone. He pushed himself up slowly, feeling dizzy. His head ached. The last memory of the blinding light still lingered in his mind. He checked the systems again. Power levels normal. Shields restored. Radiation readings stable? It did not make sense. Nothing about what just happened could explain why everything was suddenly working. He looked around carefully. Nothing seemed out of place. Then he noticed something strange. A faint line of silver dust glowed near the floor, forming a small circular pattern beside him. It looked like the residue of burned metal, but it shimmered softly as if alive. He bent closer to study it. When he touched the floor, the dust faded into the air. He stood up again, unsure what to think. He tried to laugh it off, telling himself he must be exhausted. Maybe he had fallen asleep for a few minutes, and his mind was playing tricks. He decided to rest. He walked toward the sleeping quarters, a small room with a narrow bed and dim lights. He lay down and closed his eyes. The bed felt colder than usual, and the silence seemed deeper as he began to drift into sleep. He heard a faint sound, like a soft hum from far away. He opened his eyes, but there was nothing. Only the dim light from the corridor outside. He closed his eyes again, telling himself it was just the reactor echoing through the walls. Sleep came slowly, when his mind floated between dreams and reality. He saw flashes of light, shapes moving through space, and a voice calling in a language he did not understand. The voice was gentle but powerful, echoing through his thoughts like a melody. He could not tell if it was real or just a dream. Then everything went quiet. He felt warmth beside him. His body, half asleep, sensed it first. A soft presence, close and calm. He opened his eyes slightly, confused. The dim light revealed a shadow beside him. A figure lay next to him, motionless but glowing faintly. He froze. His heart began to beat faster. He blinked to clear his vision, but the figure remained. It was not human. The skin shimmered like silver, and long hair floated slightly as if moved by invisible air. A faint glow surrounded her body, soft and beautiful. Tom did not move. He only stared, unable to understand what he was seeing. The figure breathed slowly, her chest rising and falling. Her eyes were closed. She looked peaceful, almost fragile. But the energy coming from her body felt powerful. He slowly reached for the emergency light switch, careful not to make a sound. The soft light filled the room, revealing the full sight of the being lying beside him. She was tall and graceful, her form covered in silver armor that looked alive. Strange symbols glowed faintly across her skin. Tom stepped back, afraid to wake her. He looked around the room again, trying to understand how she had appeared there. There was no sign of entry, no alarm triggered, no damage to the doors. It was as if she had materialized out of thin air. His mind raced with questions. Was she part of the storm? A hallucination caused by radiation? Or something else entirely? He took a deep breath and whispered, "Who are you?" The figure did not move. Her breathing stayed steady. For a moment, Tom thought she might be hurt or unconscious. He moved closer, watching carefully. The glow around her flickered softly, reacting to his presence. When he was close enough, he saw her face. It was calm, almost serene, and her features were different from any human. Her eyes slowly opened, revealing a soft golden light within them. Tom froze again. She looked directly at him, and though her lips did not move, a voice echoed in his mind. It was soft, musical, and carried both confusion and strength. "Where am I?" she asked. Tom's mouth went dry. He could not speak for a moment. Then he whispered, "You are on Horizon 9. The figure blinked slowly, her golden eyes studying him. The glow around her dimmed slightly. She looked down at his hand still resting near her. "You are human," she said softly. Tom nodded, still stunned. Yes. And you. You are not. For a moment, neither moved. The hum of the station filled the silence again. Outside, the cosmic storm shimmered faintly around the orbit. Tom did not know it yet. But this was the night everything changed. The night the last human on Horizon 9 would no longer be alone. Tom stood completely still, watching the strange woman with silver skin and golden eyes. The room was quiet except for the low hum of the station's systems. The glow around her body faded slowly until only her natural shine remained. She sat up carefully, her movement calm and controlled. Her armor shifted like liquid metal, forming smooth curves that adjusted to her form. Tom took a step back, still unsure what he was seeing. He had read about alien life before, but no one had ever met a being like her. There were a few species known in the nearby systems, but none looked like this. She was something new, something far beyond human science. She looked around the small room, confusion in her golden eyes. "This place," she said softly, her voice echoing faintly inside his mind. "It is not my ship." Tom swallowed hard and answered slowly. "No. This is Horizon 9, an orbital station near planet Sero. You are safe, I think." The woman's gaze returned to him. Her expression stayed calm, but there was strength behind her eyes. "Safe," she repeated as if testing the word. "The light pulled me through. I felt the storm break open the void." Wait. She looked at her hands, then at the walls. "You brought me here." Tom shook his head quickly. "No, I did nothing. The storm hit the station. I saw a flash, then you appeared. I don't even know how you got here." She studied him for a moment, as if deciding whether to believe him. Then she said, "You are human, correct?" "Yes," Tom said. "And you are?" The woman straightened her back. "I am Valea, Empress of the Zinthari Dominion." The title meant nothing to Tom, but the way she said it made him realize she was someone important. Her voice carried authority, calm but proud. He hesitated, unsure how to respond. "An Empress," he said slowly. "That sounds high rank." Valea's expression softened slightly. "It is a duty, one that I no longer understand. My ship was caught in the energy wave. My guards were lost in the storm. I felt the rift open, then darkness." Tom listened carefully. Everything she said sounded impossible, yet it matched what had happened outside the station. The cosmic storm was not just energy. It had strange effects on space itself. Maybe it had pulled her across dimensions or from another system. She stood up slowly. Her height was taller than his, her posture graceful but steady. The room lights reflected off her silver skin. "This place feels strange," she said quietly. "The air is thin, the gravity weak." Tom nodded. "It is built for humans. Our world has a bit stronger pull. I can adjust the settings if it helps." Valea looked at him again, her eyes bright. "You are not afraid?" He gave a small smile. "Should I be?" She tilted her head slightly. "Most humans would be. My kind is not known to yours. In other places, humans hide from the unknown."
Oh.
Tom thought for a moment. Maybe I am just too tired to be afraid. Or maybe being alone for too long makes anything that can talk seem like a miracle. Her golden eyes softened at his words. She sat down again on the edge of the bed, her armor fading away into a thin silver layer that looked almost like fabric. "You are alone here," she said. "Yes," he replied. "The others left when the storm started. I stayed to keep the station alive. I did not want to abandon it." Valea looked down at her hands. "You protect what is yours. That is a noble act." Tom smiled faintly. Maybe I just did not have anywhere else to go." They sat in silence for a while. The hum of the station filled the air. Outside, the storm's light danced across the stars, glowing faintly against the window. After some time, Valea spoke again. "Your machines are different. They breathe like living metal, but the energy flow is unstable. Your station will not hold for long if the storm grows stronger." Tom looked at her in surprise. "You can sense that?" She nodded. "The energy sings to me. My kind was born from the stars. We feel their song in our blood. The words sounded poetic, but Tom could see truth behind them. He decided to show her the main systems. "Come with me," he said. "I will show you what I am trying to keep alive." Valea followed him through the corridor. Her steps were silent, her movements smooth. The flickering lights above reflected on her skin, making her glow faintly as she walked. Tom tried not to stare, but it was difficult. She did not move like a human. She moved like flowing light. They entered the control room. Screens blinked with data and power readings. Tom pointed at the main console. "This is the heart of Horizon 9. Reactor, shields, navigation. Everything runs from here." Valea studied the displays with interest. "Your system is simple," she said, "but strong. The energy core is stable for now, but the outer shell is absorbing too much flux."
Ow.
"I know. I have been trying to keep it balanced. Every time I fix one system, another breaks." She touched the control panel lightly. Her fingers left a faint trail of blue light. The data screens flickered, then rearranged themselves into clear readings he had never seen before. "How did you do that?" Tom asked in shock. Valea smiled softly. "My armor connects with energy fields. I can help you stabilize the flow." He watched her work for a moment. Her hands moved with calm precision, tracing patterns across the display. The reactor readings began to settle. The warning lights turned from red to green. "You just saved me weeks of work," he said with a grin. Valea looked at him. "You humans work hard, even when all seems lost. That is a strength I have always admired." "You know humans?" he asked. "I have read about your kind in the ancient archives," she said. "Stories from before the stars divided us. Most believed humans were lost to the void long ago." Tom shook his head slowly. "We are still here. Maybe smaller, maybe weaker than before, but still trying." Valea's eyes softened again. "Then perhaps fate brought me here for a reason." Her words stayed in Tom's mind as they worked together to stabilize the systems. Hours passed quietly. She explained things he did not understand about energy harmonics and flux patterns, using simple words so he could follow. Her knowledge was beyond anything in human science. He felt both amazed and humbled. After they finished, they returned to the observation deck. The stars outside looked brighter now. The storm had calmed slightly, leaving gentle waves of color across the darkness. Tom leaned on the glass, looking at the endless space. "I have spent months watching this," he said softly. "Sometimes it feels like the stars are talking, but I can never hear what they say." Valea stood beside him, her reflection glowing faintly on the glass. "They speak, but not in words. The stars remember everything that passes through them. Every light you see carries a story." He turned toward her. "Then what story do you think they are telling tonight?" She smiled faintly. "A story about a human who stayed behind when others left. A man who faced the storm and found something he did not expect."
Out.
Tom felt his heart tighten slightly. Her words carried warmth that he had not felt in a long time. He looked down, trying to find the right words. "I did not expect to find anyone, especially not someone like you." Valea looked at him thoughtfully. "And I did not expect to wake in the arms of a human. Yet here we are." They shared a quiet moment, standing side by side. The lights of the storm moved slowly across the station's glass, painting their reflections in colors of blue and gold. Later, Valea grew weak again. Her glow faded, and she had to rest. Tom helped her back to the quarters. "Your energy," he said. "It's dropping." She nodded. "The rift that brought me here broke my core balance. I must restore it with light from the stars, but the storm blocks it. Without balance, my strength will fade." Tom looked at her with concern. "Is there a way to help you?" "Yes," she said. "If I can reach the reactor chamber, I can draw pure energy for a short time. It will not harm your systems if you guide it carefully." He hesitated for a moment. "We can try tomorrow. You need rest first." Valea looked at him quietly. "You speak like a guardian." Tom smiled. "Maybe I just don't want my only guest to vanish." She closed her eyes, a faint smile on her lips. "Then I will rest." As she drifted into sleep, The glow around her returned slightly. Tom sat beside the door, watching her for a while. He could not understand why he felt calm near her, even though she was not human. Something about her presence made the silence less heavy. He leaned back against the wall and whispered, "You are not from my world, but somehow, you feel like a part of it." The lights dimmed and the storm outside rumbled softly. Tom closed his eyes, feeling the first sense of peace he had known in months. For the first time, Horizon 9 did not feel like a tomb. It felt alive again. And though he did not know it yet, this was only the beginning of a bond that would change the course of both their worlds forever. Morning on Horizon 9 arrived slowly. The storm outside had quieted 2 gentle ripples of light that shimmered across the station's windows. Tom sat at the observation deck, sipping a cup of warm synthesized tea. Valia lay on the small bed in the corner, her silver skin faintly glowing as her breathing returned to normal. Her rest was deep, yet he could see the faint movements of her chest, the soft pulse of her energy returning gradually. Tom had spent hours the previous night watching her. Something about her presence made the lonely station feel less empty. She was not human, yet she carried a calm authority and an understanding that made him feel less alone than he had in weeks. He glanced at the main console. The reactor was stable for now, but the outer shield still absorbed the energy ripples from the storm. It would not hold forever. The cosmic storm was unpredictable. The rift that had brought Valia here could open again at any moment. He walked over to the reactor chamber. Valia had asked him to observe while she attempted to synchronize her energy with the station's systems. Tom knew this was risky. Any wrong move could damage the station or even harm her. Yet, he also knew that her presence could be the only way to maintain stability in this unpredictable storm. Valia rose from the bed when she noticed him entering the reactor chamber. "Are you ready?" she asked, her voice calm and melodic. "I am," Tom replied, though he felt a twinge of nervousness. "I will follow your instructions carefully," she nodded. Her hands glowed faintly as she touched the control panels. The silver lines of energy on her armor brightened, flowing like living light across her body. Tom watched in awe as the alien Empress began to channel her energy into the reactor core. The reactor hummed louder. Lights flickered across the control room as the energy began to synchronize. Tom followed her instructions, adjusting the magnetic coils and stabilizing the power conduits. His hands moved quickly, but he watched her movements even more carefully. Every gesture she made seemed deliberate, precise, and powerful. After some tense moments, the reactor stabilized fully. The warning lights turned green, and the hum of the station returned to a calm rhythm. Valia took a deep breath, lowering her hands. "It is balanced for now," she said. "But this storm, it is more than a normal cosmic event. The rift is growing unstable." Tom frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means," she replied, "that the energy that brought me here may return. If the rift widens without control, it could tear the station apart or pull more than just me through." Tom felt a chill run down his spine. "More than just you? You mean it could pull something else into this station?" Valia nodded gravely. "The rift connects worlds. It does not discriminate. Anything within its reach could be transported." Tom swallowed hard. He had already witnessed the impossible when she appeared, and now he had to prepare for the chance that even more unknown forces might arrive. He realized that Horizon 9 was no longer just a station. It had become the focal point of an event far larger than he had ever imagined. Valia approached him, her golden eyes softening. "You are brave, human. Alone, you managed this station while facing the unknown. Most would have abandoned it long ago." Tom shrugged. "I have no choice. Someone has to try." Her hand hovered near his shoulder, but she did not touch him. "Then I will help. Together, we may be able to control the rift long enough for you to survive it." Over the next few hours, Tom and Valia worked side by side. She taught him to read the energy waves differently, to feel the subtle changes in the reactor and shields. He learned to anticipate the storm's fluctuations, using her guidance to adjust the station in ways he had never considered. The bond between them grew stronger, built on shared purpose and mutual respect. During a brief break, Tom offered her some of the synthetic food packs he had left. "You must be hungry," he said. "You have not eaten since you arrived." Valea shook her head. "My energy comes from the stars. Food is unnecessary for now, but your thoughtfulness is appreciated." Tom smiled faintly. "Well then, I will eat for both of us." He opened a pack and began to chew quietly. Valea watched him, her golden eyes observing every movement. "You are patient," she said softly. "Not just with machines, but with life itself. That is rare among humans." Tom laughed lightly. "I have to be alone. You either learn patience or go mad." She nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps that is why the stars allowed our meeting. Loneliness teaches lessons even the strongest empires cannot." As evening approached, the station's lights flickered again. The storm was building. Tom checked the sensors. Energy readings spiked unpredictably. The rift outside was pulsing with visible waves of blue and gold light. Valia's expression grew serious. "It is happening again," she said. "The rift is unstable. It may open fully if we do not act quickly." Tom moved to the reactor console. "What do we need to do?" Valia placed her hands on the main control panel. "I will draw energy from the station's core to stabilize the rift temporarily. You must adjust the external shields to contain the flux. It will require both of us to synchronize perfectly." His heart pounded. He had never done anything like this before. "I am ready," he said. Valia closed her eyes and began the process. Her body glowed brightly as energy flowed from her core into the reactor. Tom followed her instructions carefully, his hands moving quickly across the controls. The shields responded slowly at first, then gradually adjusted to the rising energy. The station trembled as the storm outside grew stronger. Lights flickered, alarms beeped softly, and the hum of the reactor deepened. Tom's hands were steady, guided by Valea's calm voice. "Good," she said. "Hold the shields. Feel the rhythm of the energy." He focused entirely on her instructions, letting the rhythm guide him. The pulsing waves of the storm outside began to stabilize. Slowly, the rift's energy decreased, the swirling lights calming into a steady glow. After tense minutes, the storm settled. Horizon 9 was safe, for now. Both Tom and Valea breathed heavily, exhausted from the effort. "You did well," she said finally, her voice soft but strong. "The station will hold for a while longer." Tom smiled faintly. "I could not have done it without you." Valea looked at him with golden eyes. "And I could not have done it without your trust. Humans are stronger than I imagined. Your courage, your determination, your ability to adapt. It is admirable." He felt a warmth in his chest at her words. "I never thought I would hear that from an alien empress," he said lightly. She allowed herself a small smile. "Perhaps you were meant to hear it." Later, as the storm's last waves faded, they returned to the observation deck. Stars glimmered across the darkness of space, peaceful now. Tom leaned against the glass, watching the lights dance across the horizon. Valea stood beside him, calm and radiant. "You are different from the humans I studied," she said quietly. "You face danger not for glory, not for orders, but because it is the right thing to do. That is rare." Tom looked at her, feeling the bond between them deepen. "Maybe being alone teaches you that. When no one is watching, you do what must be done." Valea studied the stars. "Perhaps that is why I was brought here. To meet a human who understands responsibility, courage, and patience. You teach me about your kind, and perhaps I teach you about the stars." He smiled. "I think we will both learn more than we imagined." The night deepened, but neither moved. The silence between them was not heavy. It was a shared understanding, a recognition of what they had faced together and what lay ahead. In that quiet moment, Tom realized that Horizon 9 was no longer just a lonely station. It had become a place of connection, a bridge between human and alien, between unknown and known. And though the rift outside still pulsed faintly, they had survived it together. Tom sat down beside the observation window, his mind wandering through the stars. Valia remained standing, her glow faint but steady. He wondered what other mysteries the storm held, what secrets the rift might reveal, and whether their encounter was only the beginning of something far greater than either of them could imagine. The night stretched on, silent yet alive, carrying the promise of challenges to come. Tom knew that the cosmic storm was far from over, but for the first time in weeks, he felt a spark of hope. With Valea by his side, he could face the unknown, and the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, as if watching, waiting, and remembering the story of a human who faced the storm and an Empress who had crossed the void to meet him. The calm that had settled over Horizon 9 did not last long. Within hours, the cosmic storm outside began to stir again. The gentle ripples of light became violent waves, lashing against the station's shields. Sensors beeped urgently, warning of rising energy levels. Tom ran to the main console, his heart pounding. "The rift is growing again," he muttered. The readings showed spikes far beyond what he had seen before. If it breaks open fully, the station could be destroyed. Valea appeared beside him, her golden eyes scanning the data. Her silver armor shimmered faintly, reflecting the flashing warning lights. "The rift is unstable," she said calmly but firmly. "It seeks balance, but the energy is too strong. We must act quickly, or Horizon 9 will not survive." Tom nodded. "What can we do?" Valea's gaze was steady. "I can channel energy to stabilize it temporarily. You must adjust the shields to contain the flux. Timing and precision are critical." He swallowed hard. "And if we fail, the storm will tear the station apart, and I may not survive," she said plainly. There was no fear in her voice, only clarity. Tom felt a surge of determination. "Then we will not fail." They moved quickly to the reactor chamber. Valea's hands glowed as she connected with the core, drawing energy to her. Tom followed her instructions, adjusting magnetic coils and power conduits with careful precision. The station trembled as energy surged through the systems, the hum growing louder and more intense. Outside, the rift pulsed with blue and gold light, larger than ever. Waves of energy licked at the station's shields, testing their strength. Tom felt the station shudder under the force. He gritted his teeth and continued his work, guided by Valea's calm voice. "Good," she said. "Hold the shields steady. Synchronize with me. Feel the rhythm of the energy." Tom focused entirely on her instructions. He let the patterns of the storm guide his hands, adjusting the reactor's output in harmony with Valea's flow. The lights flickered violently as the energy reached a critical point. For a moment, the station trembled, and alarms blared. "We are almost there," Valea said, her voice strong and unwavering. "Do not stop. Keep your focus." Minutes stretched like hours as they worked together. Tom could feel the tension in the air, the immense power of the rift pressing against them. Every adjustment, every command had to be perfect. One mistake could destroy them both. Finally, slowly, the energy waves began to stabilize. The rift's pulsing light dimmed slightly, and the station's shields held firm. Tom let out a breath he did not realize he was holding. Valea's hands glowed faintly, her body radiating calm power. "You did well," she said softly. "The station will hold for now." Tom smiled faintly, exhaustion and relief mixing in his chest. "We did it together." Valea nodded, her golden eyes studying him. "Yes, humans are stronger than I imagined. Courage, patience, determination, you embody all of these. That is why you survived the storm when others would have faltered." Tom felt a warmth he had not experienced in months. "Thank you," he said quietly. "I could not have done this alone." Valea's expression softened. "Nor could I have done it without your guidance and trust. Together, we form a bond stronger than either of us alone."
Oh.
Their relief was short-lived. The rift outside had not disappeared entirely. It pulsed faintly, a reminder that danger was never far away. Tom realized that the station, their home for months, was now a nexus of cosmic forces beyond human understanding. He looked at Valea. "Do your people know you are here? Your guards or your fleet?" Valea's eyes darkened slightly. They are searching for me. My signal was lost when the storm pulled me through. They may arrive soon, but the rift's energy may prevent them from entering safely. Tom nodded, understanding the gravity of their situation. We have to be ready for anything. Valea placed a hand on the console. We will. I will not abandon this station, and I will not leave you unprotected. Together, we can control the rift long enough to survive and learn its purpose. Hours passed as they monitored the station. Tom marveled at Valia's knowledge. She explained the cosmic storm, the rift, and how energy flowed between worlds. Her understanding was beyond human science. She taught him to feel the currents of energy, to anticipate the rift's behavior, and to synchronize his actions with hers. Tom learned quickly, driven by necessity and the trust he felt toward her. He adjusted power conduits, shields, and reactor outputs with a precision he had never thought possible. Valia guided him patiently, correcting small mistakes and praising his successes. By the time the storm began to quiet again, a bond had formed between them stronger than either expected. Tom realized that Valia was more than an alien visitor. She had become a partner, someone who understood the weight of responsibility and the courage required to survive in the void as night fell over Horizon 9. Valia rested in the quarters while Tom continued to monitor the systems. He could see her faint glow through the doorway, a reminder that even in alien form, life could inspire hope and connection. Suddenly, an alert sounded on the console. A fleet of ships had appeared outside the rift, their signals pulsing through the energy waves. Tom recognized the insignia from Valia's description. They were her guards, sent to retrieve her. Valia appeared beside him instantly. They have found me, she said calmly. But entering the rift now would be too dangerous. They cannot cross without risking destruction. Tom glanced at the display. The ships hovered at the edge of the storm, scanning for an opening. What will they do? He asked. They will wait, Valia said, and they will judge the situation. I must decide whether to return with them or stay to protect this station.
Ow.
Tom felt a twinge of fear. If they take you through the rift, will I ever see you again? Valia looked at him, her golden eyes steady. Perhaps. But our duty is not to ourselves. It is to those we protect. I came here by accident, but now I stay because it is needed. You are part of that, human. Tom nodded, understanding her meaning. Then we keep the station safe, together. Valia's hands glowed again as she connected with the reactor. Yes, we will stabilize the rift long enough to ensure no one is harmed. Then we will see what choices remain. The next hours were tense. Tom and Valia worked in perfect synchronization. Energy surged, alarms blared, and the station shook under the storm's force. The rift's light pulsed violently, threatening to tear the station apart. Yet they held firm, each action precise, each adjustment coordinated. Finally, as the storm subsided, the rift's energy calmed. Horizon 9 remained intact. Tom wiped sweat from his brow, exhausted but relieved. Valia stood beside him, her glow dim but steady. You are remarkable, she said softly. The human spirit is stronger than I imagined. Tom smiled faintly. And you are incredible. Not just your power, but your patience, your knowledge, and your willingness to help. I am glad you are here. Valia studied him for a moment, then nodded. Then we will face whatever comes next together. The rift is not gone, and the storm may return. But as long as we act with courage and wisdom, Horizon 9 will endure. Outside, the stars shone brightly once more, the cosmic storm retreating to distant space. Inside, the station was calm, yet charged with energy, alive with the presence of two beings from different worlds, united in purpose. Tom looked at Valia, feeling a deep respect and trust. He realized that the human spirit had found its match in the alien Empress, and together they could face challenges no one else could survive as the night settled over Horizon 9. Tom knew that the rift was only the beginning. The arrival of Valia had changed everything. The station was no longer just a lonely outpost in the void. It was a place where courage, knowledge, and hope had joined to face the unknown. And though the fleet waited outside the storm, and the rift still pulsed faintly, Tom and Valea knew they could meet the coming trials together. As partners, as allies, and as friends, the stars above seemed to shine brighter, bearing witness to a story that was only beginning, a story of courage, survival, and the bond between a human and an alien Empress. The calm after the storm was deceptive. Though Horizon 9 had survived the rift's last surge, Tom and Valea knew the danger was not over. The cosmic energy waves still pulsed faintly, and the fleet of Zinthari ships hovered at the edge of the storm. Their presence was a reminder that Valea had a duty beyond the station, a duty that could take her away at any moment. Tom stood at the observation window, staring at the distant ships. His chest tightened at the thought of losing her after everything they had endured together. He did not understand how he could feel so connected to someone who was not human, someone from a world he could barely imagine. Yet over the past days, their bond had grown stronger, built on trust, courage, and shared survival. Valea approached quietly, her golden eyes reflecting the distant stars. She stood beside him, calm but resolute. "The fleet waits," she said softly. "They cannot enter the rift safely, but they will not leave until I return with them." Tom nodded, his hands tightening against the railing. "And if you leave?" Valea looked out at the storm, her expression thoughtful. "I have a choice. I can return with them, or I can stay and protect this station. But I cannot abandon the rift entirely. The energy it contains is dangerous, and someone must maintain balance." Tom took a deep breath. "Then we stay together. We keep the station safe. We face the rift, side by side." She studied him for a moment, her eyes searching. Then she smiled faintly. "You are brave, human. Your courage is unlike anything I have seen in my world. Perhaps that is why I am here." The two of them moved to the reactor chamber. The rift outside began to pulse again, larger and more intense than before. Tom adjusted the shields, while Valea prepared to channel energy. Together, they synchronized with the reactor, combining human ingenuity and alien power. The station shuddered under the immense force, but their coordination kept it from collapsing as they worked. The fleet of Zinthari ships made cautious maneuvers at the edge of the storm. Valea's signal reached them briefly, and a voice echoed through the station's comm system. "Empress Volea, return with us immediately," it said. "The rift cannot be contained alone." Valea's golden eyes met Tom's. "They cannot understand this place as you do. They cannot act with the same care and patience. If I go with them now, the station may be destroyed." Tom nodded. "Then we finish this. Then you decide." Hours passed as they battled the rift together. The energy outside surged unpredictably, threatening to tear the station apart. Tom's hands moved with precision, adjusting the shields and reactor conduits. Valea's energy flowed through the systems, stabilizing the core with an elegance and power that left him in awe. Finally, after the most intense surge yet, the rift began to shrink. The pulsing waves diminished, leaving only a faint shimmer of light. The station trembled one last time, and then settled into calm silence. Horizon 9 had survived. Valea lowered her hands, exhausted but steady. "It is done," she said softly. "The rift will remain closed for now, though its energy will linger. Someone must continue to monitor it, but the immediate danger is over." Tom exhaled, relief flooding through him. "We did it." Valea looked at him with admiration. "Together, human. Your courage, patience, and determination saved this station. You have shown that your kind can face impossible odds with strength and wisdom." Tom felt a warmth in his chest at her words. "I could not have done it without you. I have never met anyone like you." Her golden eyes softened. "Nor have I met anyone like you. You are human, yet your spirit rivals the greatest beings of my world. Perhaps the stars placed me here to see it firsthand." Outside, the fleet remained at the edge of the storm. Their ships hovered silently, waiting for Valea's decision. She turned to Tom, her expression serious. "I must return with them soon. It is my duty, but I do not wish to leave you unprotected. You have proven yourself capable beyond measure." Tom swallowed hard. "Then promise me this, that you will return somehow. That this is not the end." Valea placed a hand gently on the console, her glow faint but steady. The stars remember, human. They remember those who act with courage and care. They will guide me back to you when the time is right. He nodded, feeling hope stir within him. Then I will wait, for as long as it takes. The fleet signaled again, and Valia took a deep breath. Her golden eyes met Tom's one last time. The rift is stable, the station is safe, and you have proven your strength. My duty calls me back to my people, but the bond we share will remain, across worlds and stars. Tom watched as she moved toward the energy field that would allow her to return to the rift. Her form shimmered, glowing brightly, and then she vanished, leaving behind only a faint trace of light. He felt the weight of silence descend on the station. Horizon 9 seemed emptier now, yet he knew she had not abandoned him. The bond they shared was stronger than distance, stronger than the void of space itself. Days turned into weeks, and Tom continued his work on the station. He maintained the reactor, monitored the rift, and repaired what the storm damaged. Yet he felt her presence in every hum of energy, every flicker of the stars outside. The lessons she had taught him, the guidance she had provided, lingered in his mind, shaping his actions and his spirit. One evening, as he rested in the observation deck, the station's sensors picked up a faint signal. A ship appeared on the edge of the station's orbit. Its insignia glowed gold. The design matched the descriptions Valia had given him of the Zinthri fleet. Tom's heart raced. He ran to the comm console. "Hello? Is anyone there?" he called. The ship's communication system activated. A familiar voice echoed through the speakers, clear and melodic. "You are no longer alone, human. The Empress remembers." Tom froze, his eyes widening. The voice was hers. Valia's voice. "Valia," he whispered. "Yes," the voice replied. "I could not abandon what we began. The stars guided me back to you. Horizon 9 and its guardian are safe once more." A ramp lowered from the ship, and Tom watched as her glowing figure stepped onto the station. Her silver skin shimmered under the artificial lights, her golden eyes bright and filled with warmth. "You returned," he said, a mix of relief and awe in his voice. "I promised," she said softly. "The bond we formed is stronger than the void between worlds. I will stay, at least until the rift is fully understood and contained. Then we will see what paths the stars allow us to follow." Tom smiled, feeling a lightness he had not known in months. "Then we face it together," he said. Valia nodded, a faint smile on her lips. Together. Outside, the stars shone brightly, calm and eternal. Horizon 9, once a lonely station in the void, now thrived with life, courage, and hope. The human spirit had endured, and the alien Empress had returned, drawn not by duty alone, but by the bond of trust, respect, and shared purpose as the station continued its orbit. Tom and Valia stood side by side at the observation deck, watching the universe stretch endlessly before them. They had survived the storm, faced the rift, and discovered that courage, intelligence, and compassion could bridge worlds, and somewhere in the stars above, the universe remembered the story of a human who stayed when others fled, and an empress who crossed the void to find a kindred spirit. Together, they were no longer alone. Together, they could face any challenge as guardians of Horizon 9. And as friends united across the cosmos, the future awaited, vast and unknown, yet filled with the promise of adventure, discovery, and the enduring power of human courage. Horizon 9 had become more than a station. It was a symbol of hope. Tom and Valia looked at each other, knowing that whatever challenges came next, they would face them side by side. The stars watched, the rift pulsed faintly, and a new chapter in their story had begun. The universe felt alive, and so did they.